What you are looking at right now is an inscription saying, "I miss you, Jew," painted in Warsaw on a wall, next to a monument of a Konzentrationslager Warschau, a concentration camp for Poles, not for Jews, during the Holocaust. A camp that never existed. Yeah, you heard right. Never existed, but tells a compelling story about us today. Hi, my name is Rafał Betlejewski and I'm here to tell you a story about "I miss you, Jew" inscription on a wall in Warsaw. I'm doing this message in English because I want to reach you out there in the world, to show that Poland is not entirely anti-Semitic, that there are people who have positive feelings towards Jews, and one of these people is me, but there are many more. And they came yesterday to paint the inscription on the wall, "I miss you, Jew." We chose a special place for that, and we chose a place that is more of a mental case, a psychological phenomena than a history case. Nevertheless, it tells a story of a KL Warschau, Konzentrationslager Warschau, a concentration camp that never existed. Go figure that, never existed. I think it tells a story of Polish-Jewish relationships better than any place else in the entire universe. I would like to thank everybody who came, like Marek Kraszewski, my friend, like Zbyszek, like, Agnieszka, who came all the way from Krakow. 400 kilometers she came to paint on the wall, "I miss you, Jew," okay? Now, go think about it. Poland is not entirely anti-Semitic. Yes, I agree, there are deep-rooted issues with Polish-Jewish relationships in this country, but we are trying to send positive message out there to you in the world. There is hope, okay? There is hope, and there is "I miss you, Jew" inscription on the wall in Warsaw, Wola. Now, what is concentration lager Warschau? If you read the plaques at this monument that is located there, it says that this is a camp that killed 200,000 Polish people during Holocaust. Polish people, not Jewish people, Polish people. Now, this is very important to understand that. On a spot, when we were trying to paint the inscription, some people came who wanted to defend the good honor of Polish nation.
Uważam, że nawet to hasło to jest niewłaściwe w tym miejscu.
A dlaczego?
Dlatego, co to znaczy? Niech mi pan wytłumaczy.
This old lady is here to protest against the painting of the mural, as is this man with an impressive mustache.
W ten sposób swoją tęsknotę za narodem utraconym przez napis "Tęsknię za tobą życie", czyli przez uznanie, że w historii Holokaustu nie da się opowiedzieć o oderwaniu od narodu żydowskiego i doświadczenia Żydów. Nie można mówić o Holokauście tylko jako o doświadczeniu polskim, gdyż to po prostu wykrzywia obraz Holokaustu. I wydaje mi się, że jeżeli dzisiaj możemy wysłać pozytywną informację w świat, to możemy to zrobić wspólnie i to jest chyba bardzo fajne.
They are so-called Polish patriots who came to defend the good name of Poland.
W domu utrzymywali Żydów i 140 Żydów przeszło przez mój dom. I mam wielki szacunek dla tego narodu i dla Polaków, którzy ratowali to życie. Natomiast malowanie takich
They did not stop us, but they were hostile in a way, and they felt like they needed to defend the monument that was commemorating the memory of KL Warschau and the 200,000 victims of that camp. If you read the plaques on, at the monument, it also says that nearby at the highway, there's a tunnel, and in that tunnel in the 40s, Nazis used those tunnels to gas Polish people in gas chambers. So it was a full-scale Holocaust perpetrated on Polish people, not Jewish people. And this is very important for these, let's say, Polish patriots who are cultivating that story of KL Warschau. So I Googled this story, okay? Because I was so amazed by this monument that is sitting there commemorating something that I never heard of. And I found there are many pages, web pages, that tell this story pretty much as it is told on those plaques at the monument. One name pops up, and it's the same name that is on the stone located there near the monument. It is the name of Maria Czcińska, and the monument says it's a Polish hero, a steadfast fighting for the truth of KL Warschau. Now, it shows up that this Maria Czcińska person was a judge in something that it used to be called the Main Commission for Investigating the Nazi Crimes in Poland, which later turned into what now is the National Remembrance Institute. And Maria Czcińska was working there as a judge. She investigated the story of KL Warschau, which actually existed, but some 4 kilometers away from the spot where we are sitting right now. That was within the ghetto limits. And right now, in the place where the main building was located, you know, the Museum of Polish Jews is located. Perhaps you know that place. Anyway, this is 4 kilometers away. And she came up with a story of a second Lager 2, Concentration Lager Warschau 2, that was only dedicated to Polish people. For some reason, this was very important for Maria Czcińska and for the people who come there to defend the good name of Poland. Well, she wrote books about it. She told stories about it, and she wanted to force the Institute of Remembrance to acknowledge this history as the official war history. It never happened. The fact is, there are no proofs that any such camp ever existed. In reality, this is a phantom camp. This is an imaginary camp. It's an imaginary trauma. There were no victims. There were no gas chambers in the tunnel, and that was proven beyond doubt. Now, question is, why is it so important for these people to tell this story? Why are they so dedicated to defending, you know, the false story of a camp that never existed? You see, the problem with Holocaust for the Polish people like me, is that Holocaust leaves us Poles in a no man's land. Like, we know perfectly well that the Germans were the organizers, the perpetrators of Holocaust. They created the camps, they created the whole idea. Now, the Jews, on the other hand, were the victims. They were the target of that horrible attack. But where does it leave us? It leaves us Polish people in a no man's land, in a twilight zone, if you will. Were we the bystanders that was just watching what was happening and couldn't do anything about it? Or were we the wrongdoers who catch the Jews and gave them to Gestapo? Were we the perpetrators who actually killed Jews and took advantage of the situation? Were we the thieves of, you know, of money, of gold, of whatever they had, of real estate? Or, as some people say, were we the heroes who were risking their lives, you know, in defense of the Jewish lives? The ones who hid them in their own houses, risking being executed by the Germans. Now, the thing is that we were all of the above. That's the problem. That's the twilight zone. Now, these people who are defending the monument, who created this monument, it's a self-made monument by self-appointed fighters for the truth. These people want to rewrite history, and they want to clearly place Polish nation as the victims of Holocaust. What they're trying to say is, it was the Polish people who were the target of the Nazi attack, not the Jewish. Look, there's proof. KL Warschau is the proof for that. We were the victims, okay? We were not perpetrators. We were not bystanders. We were not wrongdoers. We were the victims. And that's what they want the world to know. And actually, this desire to be a victim is justifiable. When you look at history of Warsaw, Warsaw was just obliterated by the Nazis. It was completely wiped out of the map of the world. The population of Warsaw from 1.5 million decreased to 5,000 people after the war ended. It was a complete disaster, a tragedy. Now, these Polish people feel like Jewish Holocaust is taking that trauma away from them. Like their story is not being heard. Like Holocaust is stealing, their right to be victims and their right to be compensated for their pain. I think perhaps KL Warschau, that really existed, but was a Jewish camp within the Jewish ghetto, called Gęsiówka, by the way. Perhaps KL Warschau is telling a very compelling story about today's relationships between the Poles and the Jews. Poles who feel like their story is not heard, and the Jews who feel like Holocaust is explaining it all. Well, these are the two sides of the coin that perhaps will never meet, or perhaps always will be together, even though when you look at one side, you can't see the other. KL Warschau today shows how much work is needed to bring those stories together and to make one nation understand the other. I hope, sincerely I hope, that by writing "I miss you" Jew on the wall, we are bringing ourselves one step closer to understanding the Jewish narrative, to understanding the fact that we cannot tell the story of Holocaust without Jewish victims. Now, perhaps the Jews will go one step further into understanding that it's very difficult for the Polish people today to understand their perspective. And I understand how difficult it is for Jewish people to reach out the hand. But maybe they should. And maybe we should. And this is what I'm trying to do. Thank you very much for listening. God bless. And let's be hopeful that the future is bright. Thank you for all the people who came, for all the people who support. Please subscribe this channel. All the best from Poland. Rafał Betlejewski, good luck.